Right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Lovely, lovely Tuesday evening. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. I'm thinking about the song we just listened to. There's Fire on the Mountain. Feel like say people don't they begin to run. But good to be here. Echo Jumo Akin Makin. Thank you, Abi71. Thank you, Golden Apple. Thank you, Koboko. Empress One Day. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for help and everybody else. Thank you for getting us to 43k likes on TikTok. Thank you very, very much. These things help a lot. So if you haven't joined, please let's also help. Let's power tap so we can push the live to the FYP together. I want to appreciate those who gave gifts. Grok, thanks for sending the heart me. If you're on TikTok, please click on the heart icon above my cap here. And please join the team. Drop a heart me. Let's drop gifts so we can push the live to the FYP together. Great to be here today. Haven't seen you in a bit, but I'm glad we are here. I'm going to have a very great time today. We're discussing NDC politics in Lagos, why all the positions are going to Ibos. And like I said the other day, I think it was yesterday, I said we're going to discuss some history as it relates to how political office holders in Yoruba land can be or were dispossessed at some point and can still be dispossessed. And you're going to hear words like "don't be a tribalist." That would be a very good weapon to make sure that you are dispossessed of what rightly belongs to you. But that will not happen by God's grace and by the fact that we're going to be enlightened. I'm not going to let anybody gaslight us or manipulate us. But it's good to be here. I saw somebody earlier. Thank you for joining us. Person hasn't been in a bit. All right. Good evening, Perizim. Perizim Wale. Evening, sir. Shono Bankwa. Good evening. Odwale Bironke. Good evening, ma'am. Omokende. Good evening. Empress. Good evening. Omokende. Let me just ask you this question before we get deep into it. Good afternoon, Mr. Latunji. Omokende, are you a bit of a supporter? Because every time you come here, you say Nigeria will be okay in 4 years. Nigeria is getting okay, and we don't need Peter Obi to do that. And this is not the platform for Peter Obi, by the way. Like, I don't want him to get anything. As a matter of fact, the only vote he should get is probably the vote of himself and his family members. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want him to. You get the point, yeah. Without having to say everything to all learn. All right. So this whole thing about being okay doesn't actually work with me, to be honest. But you're here, so enjoy. Okay. So we begin with the news before we get to the topic. I suspect there'll probably be no breaks, but we're gonna have people come up much later. And I said because the news is the story, is the topic, essentially. Someone says Peter Obike, you will turn Nigeria to a wasteland. We don't even no. Himself and his family should be enjoying whatever it is that they have done so far. Okay. Perhaps we should begin with the okay news since we've started talking about it already. The Nigerian Democratic Congress, and they're the ones we're talking about today, and something's happening in that party in Lagos, and it's important to nip it in the bud and to speak on it so that we don't have it first string and folks then turn around to say you didn't say anything about it in the beginning. Someone says, what's the topic? The topic is NDC politics in Lagos, why all the positions are going to Ibos. Because that's the reality, that's what's happening at the moment. We're going to get to that topic much later, but let's begin with the news of the zoning of the presidential ticket in NDC to the south, right? The Nigerian Democratic Congress has zoned their presidential ticket to the south. I mean, that line is news enough. And we know what that means essentially. I mean, what it means basically is that Peter Obi will most likely be the flag bearer of NDC, which means that his goal of not contesting in any primary elections would have been realized once he's allowed to run on that platform without having to contest primaries. So that's good news for him. He's not going to win regardless. But there's something I've noticed since that statement, was announced. People are saying all kinds of things, but one thing that is very, very, in fact, let me read some of the things that people are saying. So what this Chinedu says, Peter Obi and Kwakwanso OK 2027. Kwakwanso X Peter Obi KO 2031. Peter Obi X Kwakwanso OK 2039. I guess it is a win then. I don't know how people don't learn anything. So for instance, you wrote all these kind of things in the last election, and here we are. You'd have expected people to learn, from past mistakes. Anybody can make mistakes, to be clear, right? But what separates winners from perpetual losers is learning, right? One will learn from the past. The other ones will say they know exactly what they're doing. Peter Obi must have, because he's been saying this for a while, so it's not news, that he's going to serve one term. That would be interesting, considering what that means basically is that the presidency in 2031 will then be zoned to the north in NDC. So I think that's why they're doing all these permutations and combinations. However, the thing is just that, do Ibos think that's a good deal? Number one, is not going to win. I'm going to repeat as many times as possible. It's prophetic. We have to say it. People come and say, why are you talking? We're not talking about him so I can win. I'm not campaigning for him. I'm telling you why he will not win. But, one second. An Igbo person usually comments on political discussions in Nigeria. But here's the thing. So, he's not going to win, but say he wins, right? What's going to happen in 2031 then? He'll probably do what he does best. He'll probably change his mind and say, he will just say, I know they do again. Or he say, is it because I'm Igbo? Anyway, this is the article that the person wrote. The person is called Ẹkáàbọ. By agreeing to a one-term arrangement, Obi is making a strategic decision calibrated for victory. But he faces two unavoidable questions. First, how would he convince Nigerians that he will not pursue a second term, just as Obasanjo and Jonathan did after making similar commitments? Second, why is he shortchanging the Igbo by conceding only one term when others either served two or fought for them? Obi can answer these questions in the following ways. First, he should publicly and formally declare his one-term commitment. The reason Obasanjo and Jonathan reneged was the agreements were never made before the Nigerian public in unambiguous terms. Once Obi makes this declaration openly, reversing course would brand him as a man without honor. Voters will not merely be disappointed, they would feel, voters will not merely be disappointed, they will feel deceived. And that reputational cost is not one a serious politician survives. Second, he can tell the Igbo plainly that half a loaf is better than none, and in the current political climate, the argument carries real weight. We believe that with credible one-term commitment and with Kwakwanso on the ticket alongside him, Obi can defeat the incumbent, even accounting for the expected rigging. Let me start with the last phrase. This rigging they're always talking about. We did a session here the other day where we went through statistical analysis of the last election, and it turns out that the most rigged spaces in this country were in the southeast. Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Ebonyi, and Abia. That's where rigging. I mean, not like I think I'm saying. I think no. A gentleman actually did his work, has a statistical data analysis of the last election, you will find the report on our Telegram channel, Redomi Global. You find a Substack article in the learning material section. Go through it. They keep using this word rigging. Meanwhile, now they're rig pass. I mean, how else do you get about 90% aggregate? In some states, 94% of all votes, because you are your sliced bread, or your peanut butter. Anyway, this idea of X-ray rigging is just ridiculous, because that's what you guys, are known for. The thing is saying here that it should tell the Ibos. It's just that if you do this thing, don't come around and be crying like a Igbiri that Nigeria does something to you, because it is well. Anyway, regardless of what they do, they're going to fail. But I think it's important to note what is going on in the political landscape. And what is happening essentially is that the ticket has been zoned to the south. Looks to me like the north is going to get the better end of this deal, especially with what's going on social media right now. Some guys decided to push this narrative that the South has been president, for much longer than the North. All right, it's something that's going on. I don't know if you've seen it. The crazy thing is that they always start their story from 1999, which makes absolutely no sense considering the fact that Nigeria did not start existing in 1999. But since they haven't had as much power since 1999, I guess this strategy will probably work for some of them in the north. But I'm going to see if I can find you that stuff. Just to be clear, I want to quickly respond to that thing because it's important that we don't let it fly. So somebody says since 1999, the south of Nigeria has produced presidents who governed for 18 years, while the north has governed for 10 years. So Olusegun Obasanjo, 1999 to 2007, 8 years. Goodluck Jonathan, 2010 to 2015, 6 years. That's not 6 years. Maybe the person don't know math. That's about 5+ years. Well, okay. Bola Tinubu, 2023 to date. Okay, 4 years. I say 4 years. It's still, well, let's just say that it's going to be 4 years, apparently. Muhammadu Buhari in the north, 2015 to 2023, 8 years. And Yar'Adua, 2007 to 2010, 10 years. So the idea behind this, of course, is that the north has had power for fewer years than the south. This, if you're a Nigerian, or even if you're not a Nigerian and you're following Nigerian political landscape or political discourse, don't let this thing fool you. It makes absolutely no sense. When people say things like, don't say it doesn't make any sense. This one makes absolutely no sense. You can't argue for a northern presidency based on what has happened since 1999, especially when we realize or consider the fact Nigeria has had independence since 1960. So let's run through it. 1960 to 1966, the person with the executive power was the Prime Minister, Tafawa Balewa. He was there for 6 years. After him, we had Iransi, who was from the east, but for the purpose of this conversation, south. Was there from January 66 to July 66, just about 6 months, right? August 1st, 1966, all the way to 1975. We had Gowon, 9 years. Okay, Gowon was there from 66 to 75. The Murtala, it's not just saying, I'll tell you the collation everything. Murtala Mohammed then became president in 75, was assassinated in 1976. Olusegun Obasanjo takes over in 1976, and then he handed power to the civilian government, Shehu Shagari, in 1979. So the Obasanjo was there for 3 years essentially, and then the Northern was there from 79 to 83. And in 1983, we had Muhammadu Buhari, who took over governance, and it was there till 85. In 1985, we had Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. This has seen all now. Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida became head of state and later military president from 1985 to 1993. Then you had Shonekon for a few months. Then you had Abacha. Sani Abacha was head of state till 1998, thereabout. And then you now had Absalam Abubakar, 98 to 1999. So look at all these years. So very quickly, Balewa 5 years and 2 months. Gowon 9 years. Murtala Mohammed 6 months, Shehu Shagari 4 years and 2 months, Buhari 1 year 6 months, IBB 8 years, Abacha 4 years and 5 months, Abubakar Absalam Abubakar 1 year. Now Umaru Yaradua 3 years, Buhari 8 years. If you put all of that together, in actual fact, the North has actually led the nation, or ruled, whichever one you want to use, for 45 years. Since 66, Ironsi 6 months, Obasanjo 3 years and 6 months, that's from 76 to 79. Shonakon spent only 3 months in 1993. OBJ came back and spent 8 years. GJ spent 8 years. GJ spent 5 years, and Bat has only spent 4 years. So that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Everything together is 21 years for the South. So that's 45 as against 21. Okay, so the idea that that we've had more southern presidents in Nigeria than northern presidents is ridiculously stupid, because it's an argument you use for retards. If you assume that people you are talking to are very stupid, they are very dumb, just like, oh look, you have not allowed the North. The North has had power double the number of years the South has had power. In fact, more than double. So 21 times 2 will be 42 plus 3, 45. I just thought we should, because sometimes these things, they fly. If you don't respond, it becomes a truth in some cases, but it ain't gonna happen. Moving away from that, we get into other news. So let's quickly visit. So somebody says, calculate Yoruba, Ibos, South. Is something wrong with your own calculator or your brain? Jesus is coming soon. Are you incapable of using your brain to calculate? Who are you talking to? Calculate Yoruba. I've been looking at you in the comment section since. Say calculate. I resemble your calculator. Anyway, let's get into the conversation. So you remember the man, Joe Oke? I almost called him Oke Bakassi, but Oke Bakassi is not the same person. Joe Oke. Sorry, I'm looking at a news item here, and somebody has changed the name. Let me just look for his real name. Joe Onwakalusi. Yes, he's been in the eye of the storm for some days now, and of course that's because of what he did. By the way, he has joined the NDC as well. Everybody just moves again wherever the Messiah goes. We're going to talk about that later. Anyway, he has been in the eye of the storm, and that's because of the list that he published, where as a member representing Oshodi Solo Constituency 2 in the House of Representatives in Abuja, he decided to use his office to empower Igbo people while in Lagos State. So 29 openings, he gave 24 to Ibos and 5 to Yoruba. That's over 80% of the opportunities. We have been told that Lagos is a melting pot. Just to be clear, it is not a melting pot in the sense of politics. Okay, Nigeria is not even a melting pot in any way, and if they want to call it that, let it be their own regions. Yoruba land is not a melting pot. If you really want to go deep into understanding how Nigeria is, I've said it several times, Nigeria is a salad bowl, not a melting pot. It's not a place where you mix everything together, you blend and grind everything. No, it's a place where you can still pick the vegetables in the bowl. Everybody know exactly where it be. You can't say cucumber should be mixed with celery and then mix that one with carrot so that you can prove that you are united. But let's even assume that they're talking about melting pot. Would it not be smarter to actually see the configuration or the composition of the numbers of the people that went to South Africa and Taiwan and China to actually reflect the so-called melting potness of Lagos? But what we saw was 24 Ibos traveling on Lagos dime. On waiting supposed to go to Lagos people. 24 Igbo people were given the opportunity by this man, and he gave only 5 slots. And even those 5 slots, I don't think those 5 slots were all Yoruba, because we saw a name. One of the names was Sam Lajayi Crowther. I don't know if the person is related to the dead, or if the parent had no first name, middle name, or surname for the person. I just had to give him everything from the early 20th century. Anyway, he appeared, the man on Alkalusi, he appeared on I think it was TVC. I saw it just now, but I can't see it again. Maybe it's not that important, but let's find it because we already started talking about it. Oh, my show. Okay, I know where to look. I know where to look. Bang, 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 bang. Please, if you're on TikTok, don't stop our tapping and also like the live and share and give gifts so that we can push the live together. Use the icon, the art icon above my cap here, and kindly join the team and drop heart me's. Okay, so the man was on TVC and he was asked questions about the growing backlash that he's been getting over what he did. Anyway, I think it would be cool for you to listen to him, share his thoughts on TVC. Please take a listen to Honorable Okejo Onaka Lucy. 1 second, please. All right.
To get out the constituency office and do a ballot push. And that's how we selected them. And we have gone around, you find that if you check the names, you find that there are some Hausa people there, there are some Sansas and there are Yorubas there. Then you can look at the constituency configuration. In my constituency, I have about 465,000 registered voters. So, and you look at it, so when you throw it open, it is only those who apply that will be considered. You don't go to because you threw it in the platform. The
bottom line for your critics is that 82% of those people who made it on that trip are non-indigens. How do you respond to accusations that you are representing your ethnic identity more than your constituency?
That's not correct. You must equally look at what are the configuration. I think you're shaking your record. If you look at the configuration of the ethnic population there, I want you to give me an answer to it. If you look at it, I want you to Google it and you saw that who are mostly predominantly there. They are mostly non-indigenous. I want you to Google.
I need to pause. I think these people must think they are dealing with clowns. Because they're used to talking to clowns where they come from. Here's a point. Ibos are not the dominant ethnicity in Oshodi Solo constituency. They're not. They are concentrated there. In other words, you can have a concentration of a thing in a particular place. It doesn't mean the domination of that space. It just means that compared to other parts of Lagos, you find Ibos concentrated in this particular place. That does not mean that they are more than the indigenous. Meanwhile, what is all this rubbish? At what point did you come here to represent your family members? Are you not supposed to be representing the place and the people that live there? And did you read any Hausa names in that list? It was Igbo. And it's not new. It's been there since the 1960s. They've been touting this since the 1940s. And they've been practicing this since the 1960s. And they practiced it, they did it well for 4 years. They did it so well. They mastered the art 1960 to 1964 before people woke up. The same thing that he's doing right now. And it's funny that it's the same excuses he's offering were the excuses that Chinua Achebe also offered. Even worse. In his book, there was a country and the other one, The Trouble with Nigeria, that he wrote in 1983. The assumption that the rest of the country has no sense. Everybody just stupid. Whatever you say, they're going to believe. What you mean is you can do configuration. You should Google it. Google what? Is Google going to provide the data? You've literally provided the data on your own feed. And the data tells us that 82% of the people that traveled on Lagos's dime were Ibos. And see, we'll talk about this thing. Next election, Ogwama G. Nigeria. We'll get to it today. All this one Nigeria, we're all one. People don't try it where they come from. The old we're liberal. It all starts once they escape wherever they're coming from and they land in Yoruba land. That's when people begin to wake up. And it's not just about Lagos. Last couple of weeks ago, it was about Ibadan. Association of Igbo residents in Ibadan telling the Yoruba Don how to get involved in Yoruba in Ibadan politics. Association, they even call themselves Association of Igbo Residents. Absolute nonsense. So it's not just about Lagos. People don't know I mean, I think it's cultural at this point. But just to be clear, Igbos are concentrated in some parts of Lagos. You see them in Amuodofin, you see them in Oshodi. So they are there. Doesn't mean that they are more. The same some parts of Kilo, part of Surulere. Just because you are concentrated in a place does not mean you are more than the owners of that. I mean, the local government. How many people are in that local government? How many of you are in the local government? How many of you are in the senatorial district? How many of you are in the federal constituency? They are you're making it look as if because we are many here, therefore we are the ones who have dominated where. And the word domination drops me off the wrong way because they used that word a lot in the 1940s and 50s, all the way to the 60s. Domination. I mean, it was so bad that one of them had to use that word. Was Sidi Oyema. The Igbo domination of Nigeria is only a question of time. When? 1945. That thing, I think it has something that it does for some people. Someone says they like to cluster. I mean, to be honest, right? People usually cluster when they go outside their space. You want to be with people that sound like you or whatever. I went to a particular, that was one day. We'll come back to I was in Apple. Apple is a place in Abuja. Oh boy. Let me not tell you my experience because I don't want to, make anybody look bad. But it wasn't the best it wasn't the best experience, to be honest, right? Apple, after Mechanic Village, you had this place, they were constant. I was like, okay. I wasn't very good. But the point is, it's natural for you to want to cluster. But when you now cluster and you have like a concentration of your people in a particular place, don't then tell the people that you are more than them. If you were more than them, that's what I want to say, but let's just continue. They are not more than anybody. What happened? He did not win because Ibos were more. He won because people were angry, particularly young Yoruba people. They were angry with the government at the center. They were angry with Tinubu because they were told, ridiculously so, that it was Tinubu who ordered the shooting in Lekki, which makes absolutely no sense. And this is why I said the other day, a person who went to school, is a graduate too, will be speaking English, but thinks that the private citizen was the one who instructed the army to shoot people. So people essentially just voted out of anger. They were shouting at people top to bottom. Thaddeus Atta in Etiosa. But here's the point. Like I always say, if you did LP top to bottom in the last election, your sins are forgiven. Don't try it again. The question you'll be asking is this: do these people then represent the land, or do they represent their own people in the land? That's why, if you are not Yoruba, I need to switch. If you're not Yoruba, you are not doing any politics in Yoruba land. And it's not because of hate. It's because by now, I think we've learned enough. We've discovered that we open our space and it's nice, it's lovely, but we've discovered, like the conversation we had the other day, that inclusivity is becoming erasure. We open our space up because we want people to come in and feel welcome, and then you start hearing people change your own history to tell you that their own great-grandfather, I mean, I saw one last week, said Ibos got to Lagos in the 15th century. Are you mad? You have to be mad. How? Did you come underground? How did you get here? Said they got there in 15th century. How? And there will be no one book. They cannot cite anything sensible. It's always, my father said, my uncles told dad that my mother's uncle, sister's auntie is my sibling. Absolute rubbish. When you begin to change people's history, you change Ife history, change Lagos history, instruct Olubadan, be talking anyhow. We know that the idea is not really about inclusivity. It's about erasure. It's about displacement in the name of unity. So under the guise of we are all one, you come in, you get opportunities because those of us feel, oh, God is sure that we're sophisticated. So we are sophisticated. Okay. Now we've given you the opportunity, you now fill the place with Igbo people. I know the beautiful thing, this is, well, it's bad, but it's beautiful. They turn and look at you and say, you're stupid. Which is how I interpret what Okejo, this man, what he was saying the second day after people called him out. He said, Wazobia, say no to tribalism. Okejo is okay. I remember because I was editing it earlier today. Okejo is okay. Say no to tribalism. In other words, you are really telling the people that they don't have sense. Because you literally just show tribalism, then you're not telling them not to be tribalistic. Meanwhile, you're an ethnic jingoist yourself. It's a shame. By the way, I'm glad they're doing this because now every opportunity that should come to the next generation of Igbo people cut off because we should have, we should have learned. And I said the other day, I'll say it again. This is not the first time we're opening our space up to people. Way back in the 1940s, and I'll give you a very specific example. 1941, NSA called the Anijo man. He won a seat in Lagos Legislative Council on the platform of NYM, Nigerian Youth Movement, 1941. As a matter of fact, the person that wanted to actually run, he eventually ran because, and Zeke used the opportunity to introduce ethnic politics into Nigeria, was a Yoruba man. The man was Obasanjo Akisoya. But let's not go into the politics of it and what Zeke did. We talked about it in another video. There's a video that's coming up later tonight and another one tomorrow. You hear the gist of that. Anyway, 41, we had a non-Yoruba person in the Lagos Legislative Council. In the 1950s, we had a non-Yoruba deputy mayor, Mbono Jike, was Ibo. 1951, we had a non-Yoruba member representing Lagos in Western Region Parliament in Ibadan, and Nnamdi Azikiwe himself. 1951. In 1962, we had a Bubedike representing Ajeromi Felodu. In this Fourth Republic, we have had several people in House of Representatives who were Ibos. We had Tony Nwulu the last time in House of Representatives, the same Oshodi. The idea that we are not open enough, you are not the one that will tell me about opening up. You've not even tried half of what we've tried. We have opened. Now we have this we have Thaddeus representing Tiosa. He's not Yoruba. We have this man too. What's his name now? Onuakalusi representing Oshodi Solo. He's Igbo. You cannot teach Yoruba people how to be open. That's the point I'm trying to make. At this point, opening doesn't even make sense anymore. Close up. All of us will brush our teeth to my white budget. Everybody's closing up. No open anything anymore. Everybody that wants to support the ministry should support whoever is there. We cannot get to the point where you are displacing people within their own land and you're telling them that they're being tribalistic when they complain. What kind of nonsense is this? It's one thing for you to do it. It's another thing for you to now look at them and say, you guys are tribalists. So what are we supposed to do? Tell you you're doing well when you're literally destroying people's opportunities and chances? It's not happening again, and we'll tell you what's happening later. That thing is not happening again, but there are things that are being done to make sure there will be no Igbos taking over opportunities in Lagos. And it's not because of hate, it's because of love for Yoruba people. And I want to make sure I make it very clear. This conversation is not about hate for Igbos. That's beneath me, and I think it should be beneath you as well. It can't be hating people. It's a waste of energy. It's not about hate for others. It's about love for your own. You don't lock your doors at night because you hate your neighbors. You lock your doors because you love your family. When your neighbor is a thief or is another thief that will come from somewhere else, you want to make sure your door is locked. So it's important to close up, not because you hate your neighbors, but because you can't lose opportunities because you're trying to prove that you are one Nigeria. It's nonsense. Nobody does it anywhere in this country. Now only you they do them. Yoruba land is not the laboratory for one Nigeria experiment. We will love people, we'll open ourselves up, but we've tried it. We've tried it since 1941. This is 2026. It's been more than 80 years. I don't know anything that is grand that has happened because of this old let's open up. Now that we've seen that it doesn't work and people are taking us for granted, maybe we'll try close up a bit. We'll take care of everybody, but we'll govern the stuff by ourselves. And I want to say one more thing before we listen to the rest of that video. The idea that Lagos is a cosmopolitan area is cosmopolitan. Retards use that argument, and I'm saying it retards use that argument. Cosmopolitanism is not an excuse to deprive people of what belongs to them. Yoruba land did not start getting cosmopolitan because of Lagos State or Lagos. In fact, because of Lagos town or even Lagos State. The concept of cosmopolitanism in Yoruba land is at least 1,000 years old. If you come from places where you don't have towns and cities, I understand, right? Everybody starts somewhere. It just so happens that my own great-grandfather started a long time ago. Anyway, the point is, we've always built cities and towns that welcome strangers. We've always created systems where even some of those strangers have become part of our societies. And I've mentioned several examples. Whether you go to Abeokuta, or you go to Ibadan, or you go to Ife, even Ife, you go to Oyo, we have people that have been Isaleko, they want Amorawa. No, Amarawa. We know ourselves. Okay, you know people that 2, 3, 4 generations ago, 3, 4 generations actually, the Kanuris. We had Nupes, we have Baribas, we have Ibiras, we have Hausas, we have folks who are not Yoruba, who are now Yoruba, and we are proud of them. Because we understand that you can become a Moluabi even if you're not Monile. And eventually a Moluabi led Monile, depending on how, but it's dependent on how we do it in our land. In other words, we open our space up, but we determine how things run. You cannot determine how things run in Yoruba land, especially when you're not coming from a place that's better. And all this thing of Kinikon, show us something from where you're coming from that makes it look as if you can actually teach me something. What can you teach me? And I'm not saying I know everything. I can learn, but tell me what you want to teach me. And before you tell me what you want to teach me, I want to read you I want to quote one scripture. Acts chapter 1. Luke was writing to Theophilus, and he said, I write to you of the things that Jesus began both to do and to teach. I write what Jesus began both to do and to teach. You have to do it before you teach me. Oh. Don't be saying you will come and call the tell me theory, say if you do like this, you should say you cosmopolitan. Where is the cosmopolitan place where you come from? Where is that cosmopolitan example where in your own neck of the woods? If you don't have such examples, just keep quiet. Stay here, enjoy Yoruba land, thrive. May God bless you. Whatever you lay your hands, may you prosper. Unless you hate the land. If you hate the land, it will not work for you. But if you are a good person, if you don't hate our Yoruba land, you will succeed. I don't care where you are from. You will do well. God bless you. God bless your family. See, I don't hate you. God bless you. He will bless your family. He will bless everything. Everything there as upon will prosper in Jesus' name. But you will not determine how we run politics in this land. You will not. You will not. If you like, Fori Lale, if you like, transformer, if you like, shout out the manipulation, marginalization, that's your father's business. But it's not going to happen again. And I'm saying, if I have to say this is next year election, office. You know what? At least, give the Yoruba 50%. You know what? Give them 40. Give them 30. Take 70 and share it across different ethnicities in Oshodi Solo constituency. Me, I will support you. I will say it's about the residents. No, 30 is too small, but you get the point. Maybe like 40. Take the 60 and share it for everybody. Not that you will take 82% and give it to Ibos and give 18% to the people of the, in fact, less than 18% because it's 2.1 something. So less than 18% to Yoruba people in Yoruba land. And you call people tribalists. You are a joker. But let's keep listening to this man. After this, we're going to listen to some other people who are responding to this. One of them is Abba Jomale. And we're going to make sure that nothing like this happens again in the next election. Please take a listen. Let's finish listening to Honorable, at least for now, it's still Honorable, but it's not going to come back next election. By the grace of God, this is Honorable Onokalusi. Take a listen, please.
It's your list, so I don't need to.
No, I'm just telling you.
My studio.
No, yes, that's why I'm telling you now. That's why I'm telling you that people. I work with FAST. By my training, I work with FAST. So if you look at the records, you find out that non-indigens are mostly populated in those locality. That's what you're sort of too. And I did discover that when we throw it open, people apply. And when people apply, we don't look at tribe. I don't believe in tribe and tongue. And it's potentially when the president returned the old national anthem, tribe and tongue is different, but in brotherhood, that's my principle. I don't know anything about tribe and tongue. What I believe that if you can give me a result, I'll work with you. And that's the way. So there's no ethnic bias on it, but the people are selected based on qualification and application. And if you apply, if I have the opportunity again, I'll throw it open. If you apply, if you qualify, if you are more than the number was given, we do it to a lucky dip. And if you are lucky, you pick it and you participate. It's just a 2 months, two weeks training. And what they do is that they pay for your ticket, they take you.
I think we've gotten what was trying to say. Like somebody wrote here, gaslighting. It's trying to tell you that you don't have sense. It's trying to tell us, your Bible, that we don't have, no, I can't say it all about us. It's trying to tell people that you don't have sense and that it can pee on them and tell them it's raining, essentially, right? I've done it, but it's open. The place is dominated by non-indigens. You know what? Let's even assume, without conceding, that it is non-indigens right there. How is non-indigens Igbo? Like the only definition of non-indigen, the synonym is Igbo. There's no other ethnicity in those places. let me tell you something. You have to work with tomorrow in mind. You have opportunity now. Let's assume you're futuristic and you understand foresight. You have foresight. If you have to go out of your way to find people, if not for anything, for the sake of optics, you do what you have to do. You are not in your land. Nigerians will understand this thing. Nigeria is not. At this time, we all know Nigeria. That's theory. In practice, I don't know any part of Anambra. We can be doing theory. We are all. If I go to Sokoto now, I know my place. So Nigeria is not open to everybody. It's a collection of ancestral spaces. People have attachment to those spaces. Just because you're a citizen, I'm a citizen, and so what? This is your citizenship. How come you never get to Sokoto? You don't go to Kano to tell them exactly how citizenship works. Is Yoruba land? No, it's not going to happen. Otoge, we are not doing it again. God bless everybody in Jesus' name. Lagos GAC member, I'm reading the Guardian Nigeria. Lagos GAC member Henry Ajomale vowed unseating lawmaker Okejo Onakaluasi over controversial empowerment beneficiaries dominated by Ibo residents. Please take a listen to Baba Jomale, who is a member of the GAC in Lagos. By the way, GAC means Governance Advisory Council. They are very important in the politics of Lagos. Take a listen to Otumba Henry Ajomale.
Àti ní gómìnà ẹ̀wọ̀n bẹ́ẹ̀. Àti ní gómìnà the oracle has spoken. Gómìnà wa tó ń bọ̀, ó wà nílé mi lánàá. Chairman wa yóò wà ńbẹ̀ nígbà tó wá ẹ rí nínú fọ́tò. Jagaban ó wà ńbẹ̀ ẹ rí nínú fọ́tò. Ẹ lè wà ńbẹ̀ ẹ rí nínú fọ́tò. Photo not the life. So ká dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé èèyàn gidi ni ẹ mọ̀ pé òṣèlú ní bàbá ẹ̀ tó tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí. Bàbá Bush wọ́n lọ sílé bàbá Bush ìjẹta. Bàbá yẹn bú sẹ́kún ni ẹkún ayọ̀ ni ló ṣe ń sunkún torí ó ń rò pé tí bàbá ẹ̀ bá wà láyé báwo ni ìbá ṣe sí ìrèsí. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ kátígórì ẹ̀ wọ́n wà láyé bọ́lá ń ṣe pé nǹkan ẹ̀ ó yàtọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ó di dandan ká gbé wọlé. Ó di dandan àti ẹ̀ tí mo rí pé landslide ní torí popular person ní Ifá gbé jáde lọ́tẹ̀ yìí. So ní problem at all. Inú wa lè dùn wípé Jagaban wa gbogbo ayé ló ti mọ̀ pé ó ń lọ fẹ́lẹ́ kejì. Ṣé bó máa wọlé àbí? Iṣọ́ lọ ń bí báyìí, nǹkan tó máa gbà la máa fún un. Torí àwọn kan ò lè wá láti ọ̀nà jíjìn kan wọ́n wá gbàdúrà mọ́ àlọ́. Àná ni o, kò ń ṣàná o, ọwọ́ kọ́wọ́ tó ń yọ àmà ẹgbẹ́. Politics ni kò mọ́mọ́ ìyá. Kò mọ́mọ́ ìyá. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wà more important sáwà. Wọ́n bá gbọ́wọ́ kọ́wọ́ àmà ẹgbẹ́ ẹni lọ́sẹ̀ yìí. So, wọ́n bá ní wọ́n fẹ́ kú dà kan sínú lọ́wọ́. Ọmọ tó bá ní kò ṣe é mú abẹ́ yìí. Lọ́tẹ̀ yìí, a ti ṣe mistake kan lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tí ọ̀gá wa ò fojú rẹ̀ wò wá. Torí láàrin ara wa náà ń bára wa jà. bẹ̀tí sẹ́yìn mi ò rí ìjà kankan láàrin wa mọ́ àti dó ti chairman wa gbogbo àwọn tá a bá dẹ̀ gbé jáde lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo ọ̀nà máa wọlé ẹ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹ bá ti bẹ́ àá mú ẹni tó máa ṣe dáadáa sí wa wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́rọ̀ ìjà wọ́n ní owó ìdálápò èèyàn kan gbogbo aládìbò gbogbo alámájẹ ń bẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ká wá gbé nǹkan fọmọ Ìgbò torí pé à ń bára jà láti jọ́ tó ti di house of rep òṣèré ẹrí tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àbámọ́ nǹkan tá a ṣe fúnra wa lórí bẹ́ẹ̀ ìgbà tí yóò bá wà ń bẹ̀ yóò tẹ̀ ju díẹ̀díẹ̀ kan ṣe ń rí lá jẹjẹ lẹ́yìn ìlú ẹ̀ ló ń gbé lọ owó èrè ló ń gbé lọ Nnewi so this time ẹ jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ tiwa wà ń bẹ̀ kóun náà tiwa fún wa ká jẹ máa jẹ nǹkan wa ní bíbá a lọ bí gbọ́gbọ́n ọmọ Ìgbò lè wá gbá lójú o nígbà kò ní dàbí jìjọ sí àwọn ọmọ àgbàdúrà.
One of the things I like about what Baba Jomale said is that he talked about the fact that because they had infighting, right, in the APC, you know, that was one of the reasons that led to somebody like the man in Oshodi Sola to win. All right, I think they've mended their fences, so hopefully we're not going to have that kind of stuff happen. But you know, you kept saying it. Only Jano. By the way, pé mo fẹ́ Igbo kò túmọ̀ sí pé mi ò lè dúró fún ìlú mi o. I think Nigerians, we are going to wake up, especially Yoruba people. A máa jí. Ó bá wù ẹ́ kó fẹ́ Igbo, ó bá wù ẹ́ kó fẹ́ Fulani, kó bá wù ẹ́ kó fẹ́. You have to have the interest of your people at heart. That's the point. So, imagine for a second, you're English. I mean, this actually happened. I just thought about it right now. This happened between the English and the Irish. You have a lot of intermarriage, right? Does that mean that if you now hear that the Irish are doing something that will help Ireland, you say, "Oh no, because I'm married to the English, I'll just let it be"? Like, people don't have a sense of self-preservation. If you like, marry anybody. By the way, if you are marrying people and you cannot. Let me pause. If you're a Yoruba man and you marry an Igbo woman, that's okay. But here's the point. If you cannot be Yoruba in your marriage, something is wrong with you. So I'm always pandering, always loco, to in this sort of straight. It's not the woman's fault, it's your own fault too. Whoever you want to marry, you should be able to act like a man. This is what we want to do. This is how you have children who are bearing Yoruba names and can't speak Yoruba because their mothers say they can't speak Yoruba. It doesn't make sense. You are losing your culture because of your penis. Like, your penis should not be the one directing your destiny, for crying out loud. So yes, you can have a no. It is what it is. But it's not about your family problem. So if we have conversations, people say things like, but I have Igbo friends. Of course they are good Igbo people. You think, and I say it often because it's important to be saying it now. I have Igbo friends, but it's not because of what the example say. You know, people say things like I have black friends. That's not the point. I'm saying that what you're saying about the fact that they're good Igbo people is not a lie. I've met some of them. In fact, I even met some today. They're great Igbo people. I'm not talking about interpersonal relationships. We're talking about politics. We're talking about culture. It's not about, oh, I have an Igbo friend. Nobody cares. We're not asking you for your family on your friend list. We're saying that when it comes to your land and how to ensure that you protect your space, nobody gets to determine what happens in Yoruba land. That's the point. Nobody is saying whether you have Igbo friend. We also do. I mean, God bless all of them. But when it comes to the politics of Yoruba land, it's something that Yoruba people have to determine. Not say, oh, because I have an Igbo wife, which is, I mean, I'm not saying she can't divorce, it's okay. Someone says, no, okay, people are already married. I can't say it's okay. Whatever you want to do. But don't be naive where you're like, oh, because I'm married to somebody, then whatever is supposed to happen to Yoruba land, let's leave it now. After all, I'm also married to one of them. We are not going to destroy the land because of your own choice of who will be in your bed. That was Babari and Jomale. Remember what the man said earlier, that he doesn't see colors, he doesn't see tribes and tongues. Let me make it very clear. Yoruba is not a tribe, Yoruba is an ethnicity, but here's the truth. I don't trust people that tell me they don't see color in American politics or in American spaces or even America. Once you tell me, or in England, once you say I don't see color, I know you're a liar. You're a big liar. Showed you a phone. What do you mean you don't see color? People say things and think that they're actually making sense. You know, when you talk, especially, I won't tell you the political guys that say the leanings of the political leanings. I don't see color. I just see people. It's a lie. You see color. You just choose to do whatever you want to do regardless. Because most of the time, the person telling you they don't see color, my brothers and sisters, the way they see color, even you know, see reach them. The man that says doesn't see any ethnicity, and ethnicity doesn't mean anything to him. Let me play you a video of him empowering the people of Oshodi Solo, and listen to the song those people sang. Please take a listen to this.
So it's not easy to reach everybody. But we're looking for partners. Can somebody say partners? Those who are going to partner with them, believe in us, so that we can work together to move into the next level. Can somebody say next level? Next level. The next level is 2027. Can somebody say 2027? Stand up and say, okay, is the man. Okay, is okay.
They see no colors. They see no ethnicities. Are we joking? How does that? Wait, that song sound like? Let's not be deceiving ourselves. People see colors, and if you want to see colors, see your colors. Just don't deceive people that you don't see color, you don't see any ethnicity. Meanwhile, you are favoring your people over the indigenous people of the land, and you're still telling those people that you are not seeing ethnicity. Are you joking? If, for instance, you had said there are TV people who don't. I know there is no way you're going to have TV Idoma, Ibibio, Efik, Angas, Bacham, Ebira, Igala, that you will not be able to tell from the names. You can't be having Chibuzo, Chineze, Kiniko, Kinko, and you're telling me that there are other ethnicities in that list. They change their name because they want to come and meet you. We are going to move to the other part that has to do with today's topic very soon. So it's also part of the news, but we'll get to that very soon. I need you to, I don't know if you've heard about, 1 second please, I want to find you that news item. Oh, but that last one is going to be fire, because the kind of things I have prepared in this place, even me, I'm laughing like, how can people be like this? Just a culture of gaslighting. It's crazy. So, Mombo, somebody went, okay, I found it. A gentleman went on Arise News to talk about the obedient movement. Excuse me, please. There's someone who has just been a nuisance in the comment section. All right. So this man, Barry Johnson, was on Arise News a while back. He claimed to be the leader of Obedient Movement, and that they are that they're expelling Peter Obi, whatever that means. I'd like you to listen to what he has to say, and also the interaction between himself and one of Peter Obi's, I don't know what to call her now. So one of the people that work with Peter Obi. This man's name is Barry Johnson. Give me a second. I'd like to play that video. Okay, good. It's loading. So it's on YouTube, so we have to wait for the ad to play, and then we'll get into it. Great. Let's take it.
Our guest will be Dr. Barry Avotu Johnson, an author and a journalist. Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Good to have you join us on the morning show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go straight into it, and let's talk about your book, which is titled Atrocious Nigeria, a chronicle of political events in 2022 and 2023.
Let's not listen to all that, because that would be a long stuff. Let's just go straight to the part that has to do with obedience movement. Okay, a second, please. All right, please take a listen to this. His name is Barry Avotu, or Barry Johnson, and he's the new coordinator of obedience movement. Take a listen to what he has to say about the movement itself.
We started the obedience movement after the NSAS and after the NYDP that was not registered by INEC, a political party that sprang up from the NSAS. All right. From there, we started the obedience movement before we adopted Peter Obi, and before Peter Obi hijacked the movement and decided to bring leadership. Definitely, before it became organic, definitely there must be pen and paper on ground. How did the logo come about? How did the name Obedient come about?
Because his name is Obi?
No, that's not the reason.
Okay.
We had the Obedient movement before we adopted an Obi.
And it was called Obedient movement?
Yes, and we looked at it, just like the way we worked on Yusuf and Useful, Obedient and Useful. We did that change ourselves.
When you say we, can you tell us who it is we?
I and one or two other people. Before it became viral, before everybody on social media started using it, and definitely, yes, it's organic, but it started from the decision of I, myself, and some other people in the presence of Professor Pato Tomi, who called us, who invited us.
Did you say this you and the other persons?
Yeah, we and some other people that their names are not sparking right now.
I was hoping you would mention names.
One person is dead.
Okay.
We lost him last month. Ayo Ogidengbe.
The person has a name.
Of course, but he's not kind of sparking like the way I'm coming forefront. The other person is declared wanted by the federal government during the NBAD protests in Nigeria, in Abuja.
This person doesn't have a name as well?
His name is Lucky.
Okay.
He's.
So yourself,
yes.
Lucky, and
yes.
that's it?
Ogedengbe, the one that died.
Okay, and
recently.
You said when was it again? When the Obedient before?
In 2022, okay. When we lost grip to register a youth party called NYDP, Nigeria Youth Democratic Party, during the NSAS, we decided to melt into any political party that could absorb us. And we met with Professor Pato Tomi, who was running for president at that time. And he said, I am not running again, but we are going to give you somebody who you have to be obedient to. He was even the one who started using the word. And we said, sir, for your age and for your level of decision to join the influence of good governance and quality leadership and the respect for the rule of law, we will be obedient to that man. And the next day we did a poster with the word obedient, OBE.
All right. So
and some other time after that time, we changed it to
Barry.
OBI.
Was there an obedient that was OBE before the OBI? I don't know. Is Barry Avotu Johnson saying the truth? I don't know. But what I'm interested in is what has come up as a result of this interview. So I'm not for him. I'm neither for him nor against him. Okay. I'm just interested in the conversation that interview has sparked. So there's a young lady, her name I think is Sarah Ibrahim, who works with Peter Obi. So she put out a statement here to respond to Barry Avotu. She says, "Barry, are you okay?" Why do people address people like that? No respect, no courtesy. Anyway, let's read what they say. "Barry, are you okay? You started what movement? I literally hired you in 2023 to mobilize people for the court, and we paid you. You didn't even know where LP office was located or where the court was. What do you know about the obedience movement? You didn't even know anything. Don't piss me off. Better take Dr. Tanko and Peter Obi off your mouth." And then she went ahead to attach the receipts. 100,000 naira that was paid. EcoBank, I'll give it a go. EcoBank receipts. They sent 100,000 naira to Barry Avotu 15th May 2023, and then they have the WhatsApp, conversation between them. I think people in Nigerian politics need to actually use people that have sense. So, what has she successfully done now? She has shown us that there's nothing like no shishi. I'll tell you what I think about it later. Let me just read what Barry has to say. "Sarah, it's Barry here. Since you have now chosen to publicly puncture the carefully manufactured myth that the now disbanded obedient movement was some pristine, spontaneous uprising untouched by money or coordination, perhaps it is only fair that Nigerians hear the full story. By your own admission, people were hired and paid to mobilize for protests and court appearances. Interesting. You see why I am compelled to disband the movement now? I have thought the script we all agreed to with Peter Obi was that this was an entirely organic movement. Millions of passionate Nigerians driven solely by conviction, patriotism, and a burning desire for change, not bank alerts, hired logistics, and backstage coordination. So where exactly, 1 second, Empress, are you there? Millions of passionate Nigerians driven solely by conviction. On board, there's a real retard in the comment section just disturbing me. Please, there's a clown. Multi-blocking saying, but on AI manufacture usernames. Please, as soon as the person comes, you see this spawn rubbish. Just help me mute and block them. It's a clown. It's actually quite retarded, but we'll block him very well. Thank you very much. Let me continue reading here. So he says, I thought that the script we all agreed to with Peter Obi was that this was an entirely organic movement. Millions of passionate Nigerians driven solely by conviction, patriotism, and a burning desire for change, not bank alerts, hired logistics, and backstage coordination. So where exactly are the so-called 10 million organic followers if mobilization required financial inducement? The obedient movement is a fraud. You just confirmed that. And since you have opened this door to infamy, should I also tell the world how much money was shared? Should I proceed to produce receipts too? Should I tell the world the debauchery in your defunct obedient movement? You, Sarah, do you want to drive with me on that avenue? For a man whose defenders endlessly market him as one who does not give shishi, how exactly did money suddenly appear to pay me for mobilization? Which version should Nigerians believe? Obedient is a fraud. Obedient, that's with the E, is the truth, and so on and so forth. But let me just quickly say something. I've often said that politicians are politicians, right? Can you have a better politician? Yes. Can you have a politician that can maybe be different from the usual? Yes. What you don't want to do in politics is to climb a high horse and assume to be the arbiter of all things good and just. When you start acting as if you are better than everybody and you essentially have become the moral standard for the rest of the people, you are the messiah of the world, you're going to change everything. It's ridiculous. Peter Obi is not better than anybody. They were paying people. Clearly, that's what this person is showing. In a bid to, go after the Barry gentleman. I don't know what he say. I'm not part of the obedience. I don't know how they started, whether it's true or not. But what she has successfully done is to make it clear. And we're saying it that there's nothing like no shishi. If you are there shouting obedience and you don't collect money, Do you notice that on social media, you have people say things like, you have collected money from Tinubu, you have collected money. They are telling you what they have done. Oh, why are you doing this? Because you have collected money. You have collected money. In other words, a person can't just wake up and decide to actually speak on politics. And, for instance, I favor Tinubu 100%. But you can't do that if you have not collected something from Tinubu, as far as they are concerned, because that's how they think. And that's how they move. People have been paid. People are being paid. The idea of no shishi is ridiculous. So what you see for the most part in our conversations on social media is a projection of their own reality. You have collected money because they have collected money. And I just want to advise those who are still believing it's rubbish, it's nonsense. Don't deceive yourself. It's not different. You see, if a party comes, for instance, MPP, what's the strength of your campaign? It's the manifesto. There are two things I think political parties should have. One, Nigerian political parties don't really have it, and it's sad. I don't know if any one of them really has anything different in that sense. There are two major things I think. I mean, there are many things. There's structure, there's organization, there's leadership, and so on and so forth. But in a party, apart from the internal democracy and structure and all of those things, there are two things that make people actually gravitate towards a party. Number one is ideology. Number two is manifesto. What's your ideology as a party? Tell us. What's your manifesto? Show us. When you have Nigerian political parties, for the most part, they are not ideological movements, and it's a shame. Just to be clear, and this is not about one person versus one, but it's almost all of them. And I've said several times, you can move from one party in Nigeria and join another party without need for orientation. The people that joined NDC yesterday are not the ones that are now trying to become presidential candidates. Which course, which program did they have to go through? If I start a political party and you join, you will spend some time. You'll be like, see, me, I have church background. You will do foundation classes. Because when you're coming from, I don't know what they put in your head, where you're coming from. Now that you have joined this one, you've got to understand what we're about. These people don't understand. Everybody just arrives and they're now presidential candidates. There's no different, unique ideology in most Nigerian political parties. At best, they're paying lip service. At worst, they don't even have any. The second one is manifesto. Peter Obi literally said, his manifesto. Peter Obi literally said, his manifesto. Peter Obi literally said, I have the video here, I played it the other day. He said, okay, what's your manifesto? You know what Peter Obi said? He said the people who bought manifesto just printed paper, they didn't do anything. May I have answer? That was the answer. And it reminded me, I wish I could play that video. It's on the other device. But he said it. And when I put out this video, I'll play that video as well. Where he said it's not about manifesto. Do you know that statement is exactly what Zik said in 1951? I'll tell you a very quick story. They're preparing for election, 1951. And then the British colonial government asks, so is Amelie moderator? You see the Amelie there? That's the one. So, where was I? 1951. The colonial office asked that parties submit. They sent it to all political parties, NCNC, AG, and every other party. And NCNC did not submit the names of Kini. When they asked for a manifesto, NCNC was fighting AG for showing their manifesto. You know what? It looks like I'd have loved to read the book. Should we read? The next Kini is the main topic, but I think we can read something here. Let me see. The book is by Olaiwola. I want to read something. So you see that one of the beautiful things, and yet one of the saddest things about Nigerian politics is that it's deja vu. I'll read something to you very quickly. This is The Political Philosophy of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Is written by Olaiwola Begunrin. Says here, before the elections, the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian, this was 1951 parliamentary elections, right? Before the elections, the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian government, Mr. Harold Cooper, wrote to all political parties contesting the elections to make known names of their candidates for the final elections to the House of Assembly. In addition, Mr. Cooper told newsmen at the press conference that this would help his department to identify the party to which elected candidates belong when issuing press releases or broadcasting results of the final election on Monday, September 22nd. It is understood that letters have been dispatched to the secretariats of the NCNC, the Action Group, Nigerian People's Congress, and other parties contesting the elections. The Action Group, pay attention, the Action Group, what was this, 1951? The Action Group submitted its list of candidates, while the NCNC did not submit or publish the names of its candidates. In addition, the Action Group list was released before the final elections and published in the Daily Service and the Nigerian Tribune on and before the September 24, 1951, the day of the final election in most parts of the West. I want to find you that stuff about manifesto. It's important. What a wow. Okay. So it says here, listen to this. The AG's campaign strategy was more appealing and effective. I'll go back just a bit to give you context. So it says here, the Action Group won because it was strong, disciplined, cohesive, committed, and well organized. The NCNC had the goodwill, but lacked organization. The internal squabbles and indiscipline within the NCNC affected its image. For instance, the 5 NCNC legislators contesting among themselves for the 2 seats allocated to Lagos and House of Assembly, Action Group concentrated on the West and limited its operations to the Western region throughout the period of the countrywide elections. The AG's campaign strategy was more appealing and effective. On the other hand, the NCNC sought votes only from big towns, while AG covered all grounds in towns, villages, and hamlets. Listen to this, please, pay attention. Most important, Action Group came out with very impressive and well-reasoned policy papers, with the party manifesto informing the voters of the programs which the party would pursue if elected. It chose to work for the welfare state, which would, among other things, provide free education and free health services for the people of the Western Nigeria. To cap it all, the party's motto, freedom for all and life more abundant, was more appealing and encouraging to the people of the Western region. The NCNC did not present any party program or party manifesto. Dr. Azikiwe promised that it will be after the elections that the NCNC will present its manifesto and accused Chief Awolowo of presenting AG party programs ahead of the elections. However, the Action Group leaders' sagacity, popular appeal, and pragmatic approach to politics were indisputable. What are you hearing here? You're trying to have an election, they're asking you for party policy papers and manifesto. The guy has no, NCNC did not have any. And Zeke had the audacity, the effrontery, to then say the person who presented party manifesto he should have waited till after elections. How do you present manifesto after elections? When was this? 1951. Zeke Obi literally did the same thing. When they asked him about manifesto, he said it's not about manifesto. What's the big deal? People are just telling you what they are going to do. It's not really about that. Then they'll be telling you a sokporo. Want the son of nobody to be anybody without meeting anybody and everybody. Just be talking things. It doesn't mean anything, by the way. Because at the end of the day, akosori ni. Can the son of nobody go to Anambra State and become somebody without meeting anybody? Because you were governor for 8 years. Did you do that? Did you accomplish that? The point is, the same way he had no manifesto, it's also the same way Zeke did not have anything. Which is why I tell people that if you study Nigerian history sincerely, it needs to become different to you. You just hear something like Motigbori, and that way you can also plan effectively, which is what we're going to discuss with the last news item before I bring people up. NDC politics. When we are done with the news and we read what happened in the 1960s, all right, in terms of how Ibos tried to dominate politics in Lagos, you will think you are listening to today's news. Having said that, let's go back to the news. I hope you're having a great time. If you're on YouTube, thanks for joining us. I think we're doing good numbers on YouTube and on Facebook and on TikTok. Thanks a lot. And I think at this point, we should bring our folks on Twitter and Twitch. The device was busy earlier, but I think it's free now. One second. I'm just trying to, hook up Twitter. Someone says, while I'm doing that, let me just read some of the comments here. Sinchi says, Obi's manifesto is when a Nigerian meets Nigerian. That is a plan to learn on the job. I think one of the most, I'm looking for a mild word. One of the one of the most depressing thing about him is that he's actually depressing. You listen to him and there's nothing that inspires you. And that's why I wonder, the people who are always, going all over the place, disturbing the peace, telling you that they found the Messiah, what exactly what's the basis of their belief? At least Jesus was on the third day. I don't know what this one did. I don't have any evidence. Anyway, while we're talking about things, let me just mention that Lagos State government is set to roll out its own driver's license in collaboration with the federal government. And I know it's not, today's topic, but it's important to also know what's happening, at home. And, the other day somebody came up here, I think it was Mimi, talking about NAFDAC and the importance of having drug control in every state of the federation rather than just talking about Abuja and everything being under the federal government. This is actually quite nice, and I think you should listen to this. This is from TVC News, by the way. Lagos State government set to roll out its own driver's license in collaboration with the federal government. Very short. Take a listen, please.
90%. Traffic management in central parking. We have the on-street parking regulation, which is to be congest on roads in the state, increase parking management efficiency, and increase business turnaround time. The Lagos State Parking Authority has zoned the regulated on-street parking scheme into 5 major locations: Ikeja, Ikoyi, Lekki, Victoria, and Surulere. The total.
One thing I like about this, I always say the reason I like Tinubu is because it's structural in thinking. And the whole idea is to have a decentralized country, like true federalism. And what that means basically is that power is not concentrated at the center. People are able to do things in states. And I think this is a very good step towards restructuring the country. It will not happen by gwa, dear. All right? You've got local government autonomy. We've talked about, now we're having conversations about state policing, and the police chief they said they're working on it. We're hoping they're going to come up with their report very soon. You had development commissions across Nigeria. Now, Lagos State is talking about having their own license. And I think it's nice. Every state should begin thinking this direction. Very soon, we'll be having conversations about resource control and about fiscal federalism. So this is how to move Nigeria forward, not by shouting China went to China. It's important to mention that. All right. I want you to... Oh, 1 second. Mumbo. I want to talk about this before it's still back. I want to quickly revisit the Oshodi Solo thing, and then we're going to go to the topic. There's something I'm noticing from this representative in Oshodi Solo. Thank you very much for the gift, Daily. Thank you, sir. And we should pay attention to it. You know what? Let me play it, and then I'll tell you about it once it's done, because that'll be a better way.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am Timothy Abiodun Olatokunbo Tubiyele. I'm a legal practitioner and a Yoruba elder. I want to speak about a gentleman, Joe Onwakulusi, member, Federal House of Representatives, representing Oshodi Isolo Constituency 2. I knew when this young man wanted to go into politics. I first knew him as a young lawyer and later as a very active member of the Christian Lawyers Fellowship of Nigeria. I remember he led us to visit the Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Mr. Obasa. Later, he approached me and he told me he wants to go into politics in Lagos State. Under the platform, I did not discourage him. I just wondered within me that Lagos State is the stronghold of the APC political party. He lost. He told me again that he's crossing over to the APC, that he wants to run for elections under the APC. I did not encourage him. I did not discourage him either. But I felt within me, and I asked myself, has he obtained clearance before contesting in APC? Those who know about APC politics in Lagos State, they know what I mean by clearance. I think he lost in primaries. Then he told me again that he wants to contest for the same office, the Federal House of Rep, under Labour Party. Labour Party was largely unknown then. Obi had not come into Labour Party. I did not encourage him. I did not discourage him. Then he won elections. He's now in the Federal House of Representatives. And he shared with me his constituency projects, the one he was to embark on and the ones that he had concluded. And I knew he was working. Then problem came. He was accused of sponsoring Igbo people, 24 Igbo people, for short courses abroad, and that he sponsored only 4 Yoruba people in an area that he represents, which is believed to be Yoruba land. Again, I got in touch with him. Why did you sponsor only Igbo people? His explanation, one, it's based on people who showed interest. That the courses was thrown open to members of his constituency, and that some people showed interest, and there was balloting, secret balloting. So those who succeeded based on luck, and these were people who had international passport.
And this old man believed that. Oh God. So the next thing is now to look for Yoruba elders to do what exactly? To convince us otherwise. Well, I wanted to play it because I just want you to. It's still long. It's longer. It's just a bit. Well, you know what? It's almost done. Let's just finish the stuff and then we'll speak at once.
Those people who were sent abroad, they were sent abroad because Onwakulusi went to embassies to get nominations. They were sponsored abroad by various embassies. I do not think those embassies would like their names to be mentioned here. What did Onwakulusi Joe do wrong? This is why some people.
If you're a Christian, you have to listen to this. He started by saying, oh, it wasn't Christian lawyers, whatever. We can't be docile in the name of religion. Okay? You can't be docile in the name of religion. Don't be stupid. Say that, oh, we are Christians, and that it means that the person is also pure. It's not true. Whatever it says, I believe it is not. I don't care. So you did ballot. Orúkọ èèyàn mélòó ló wà nínú ballot? Kí iṣẹ́ wo ló ṣe to make sure that there is actually representation? And what are you even balloting to start with? The video we listened to, I don't know if you were here, just in case you were not here, almost everybody in that room was Igbo. I wish you could watch it, but you can't watch it because of the way it is, but you can hear it. Almost every single person in the room was Igbo, and they were celebrating and singing Igbo song for whatever empowerment they claimed it was doing for them. Wait, just in case you were not here when we played it, I think I just quickly played. It has nothing. It's not about balloting. It's about a culture of taking advantage of people in their own space, and it's not new. It didn't start today. It's not, and I'm not. It's just that this, when people say things like, "Hey, what did they do?" What kind of question are you asking me? What kind of question are you asking me? That's how you have all this liberal. We know, we are all together. What are you doing? Let me play that video. Take a listen and tell me if I'll put the video out when this video goes out. I'm going to put the video. You see it, and tell me what balloting brought these ones in. Because since balloting don't want to lie on, you should call KPMG. Take a listen to this one. Rather,
So it's not easy to reach everybody. But we're looking for partners. Can somebody say partners? Those who are going to partner with them, believe in us, so that we can work together to move into the next level. Can somebody say next level? Next level. The next level is 2027. Can somebody say 2027? How many of us, from what we have seen, can happily, joyfully, stand up and say, okay, is the man? Okay, it's okay.
And is there anything wrong with that? No. As long as you're doing it in your house and in your region. Yoruba people need to understand this. And I think I want to spend some time on it. I did it last week. Let me see if I have the scriptures. I'll talk about it and go to the next topic. I want to find the scriptures I used. People are getting too docile. I say it every time. God is not creating new land. Whatever He has created, that's what He has created. And if you now misuse it and people take it over from you and you now come and cry, nobody will really care about that. I want to read some scriptures. He said He doesn't see tribe and tongue, and then this man was saying that they were all together in church. Nobody cares. All right, very quickly. You see, God, Olodumare, when God created the heavens and earth, when He created human beings, as people began to spread, it was His own desire, right, for human beings to spread. It was also His own desire for human beings to have something called diversity. He did not create us to be the same. We're supposed to all have sense, because some people don't have sense. We're all supposed to have sense, but in terms of the expression of our cultural idiosyncrasies, it's not supposed to be the same. Okay, some people prefer some things, some people prefer some things. However, in Acts, it talks about. I didn't prepare for this, but we are going to read Bible together. Share your life Bible. We Acts 17:26, and God, He has made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, and has determined their pre-appointed times and the boundaries of their dwellings. Everybody gets your own boundary. That uniqueness where you get, keep up for your house. If you come my place, this place is not the place where you can't display rubbish. Because oúnjẹ bí èèwọ̀ bòmíì, okay, nǹkan tó ṣe gbà bí èèwọ̀ bòmíì, we don't like what you're doing. And if you have any common sense, you know that means that you should not be doing that thing. But just the same way, if I go to your land, I will find a way to adjust. It's commonsensical. It takes a people who have not evolved, who are still very primitive, to assume that when they go to another person's place, they are supposed to learn the ways of those people. I'm going to have a session, maybe later this week. We're going to talk about the indigeneity conversations between our Hausas and the Yorubas. What we can learn, the mistakes that have been made, and the successes. So maybe even we will appreciate how far we have come. Generally speaking, you're supposed to understand and adapt. God didn't create us to not see ethnicities. I don't see tribe is a lie. You see them, because I can tell. 24 out of 29, say you are using ballot. Is it not what you put inside ballot that ballot will give to you? If you put 1,000 Yoruba people there, and you have 12 Ibos, and you want to choose 24, are you going to choose 20? Are you going to choose 29? Are you going to choose 24 Igbo? Say they didn't apply. Did you announce? You know what? Even trying to respond to what this old man says is a waste of time. Because this is how the Jews, Yoruba people, especially when they start telling you that we are all children of God. Listen, I'm a child of God. We are all Christians. We're not going to use bread like the komi beje. I'll read some things in your hearing, please. Revelation. Oh, good. Sorry, I just remember something. There's a scripture that people often use, and I think I talked about it some days ago. When they talk to you, you hear things like, just the same way you hear, I see neither tribe nor color. In 1934, there was a book that was published by Azikiwe. It was called Renaissance Africa. In that book, Zik said there should be no tribal idiosyncrasies and tribal appellations. He said, you know what? We're going to come back to the Bible. Let's read Zik. We're going somewhere. Please stay with me. I hope who remembers Pastor Reverend Chris Okuti. I was going to say, I'm going to read you what Zik said, and you see that it's very similar to what Okejo said earlier. Zik said, let the Renaissance Africa, this from his book, The Renaissance Africa, published in 1934. Let the Renaissance Africa take upon himself the burden of looking at his fellow African as a man. Nothing more, nothing less. Tribal appellations cause tribal idiosyncrasies. These lead ultimately to vanity and superciliousness and disharmony. A regenerated social order must come. Fanti or Ga, Temne or Mende, Yoruba or Igbo, Bantu or Tuareg, Bubi or Hausa, Jollof or Kru, all are Africans, all are human beings. A man's a man for that. When you see that, you say, hey, Pan-African, you're last. He says there should be no tribal appellations because it won't cause tribal idiosyncrasies and it will lead to vanity. There should be no difference between Yoruba and Igbo, Hausa and this, Tinko and Kiniko. 1934. By 1944, by 1938, 4 years after this, Zik was using his own newspaper, West African Pilot, to push the Ibos above every other ethnicity in Nigeria. By 1944, Zik and the rest of these people were planning how to, in their own words, perpetually rule Nigeria. By 1949, Zik was telling Ibos in Aba that the God of Africa had specially created Ibos to lead the children of Africa from the bondage of the ages. The same person who said there's no Igbo, no Hausa, no Yoruba is saying God has specially created the Igbo nation. I thought we were all the same. I thought we were all one man under God. We are all no man. All are Africans, all are human beings. A man's a man for that. We're all humans. We're Pan-Africanists. If you're a Yoruba person and you go and listen to these people telling you that we are all one, you are deceiving yourself. Oh. We are all one, but they are the ones. That's the point. And if you go against the fact that they are the ones, you are tribalistic. You are a bigot. And you like you got. So when you hear things like, oh, you're not Yoruba, no Igbo, I don't see any ethnicity, we're all the same, it's a lie. I don't even want to hear your explanation, whatever you are saying. Zik said the same thing and it is worse. By the time he became governor during 1960, he was fixing up everywhere with Ibos. He made sure the VC of UI was Igbo, Kennedy. He made sure the pro-chancellor was Igbo, Francis Ibiam. When the pro-chancellor finished his term and went to replace that pro-chancellor, he made sure that he replaced that one with another Igbo, Kejani. He made sure the VC of UNILAG was Igbo, and Njoku. He was filling the entire place. Read the document on our Telegram channel. White paper on political alignment in Europe. White paper on political alignment in Western region. Please read it, because all this I don't see any Igbo, I don't see any Kiniko is a lie. Back to the scriptures. Galatians 3 says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. If you're a Christian here and you've read this thing, there's neither Jew nor Greek, there's no Yoruba or Igbo, we are all one in Christ. Ask them if the person is a man or woman. If the person says they are male or female, then there's a problem, because this scripture says there's neither male nor female. Does that mean that we are all transvestite, like we have no gender? Is that what he's saying? He's saying that the focus is the fact that we are now new people in Christ. He's not saying that our ethnicities have been erased. In other words, your gender is not the focus, is that we are all one. Your ethnicity is not the focus, but we are all one. But if I discover that being one is making you use that thing against me as a woman, I will not talk to you and say, Auntie, don't do that again. If you're doing it as a man, Uncle, don't do that. You can't tell me and say, I'm neither a male nor female. Whatever you are, you are. But the point is that the idea of jettisoning your ethnic identity in the name of we're all Christians is the pathway to destruction. Because the people that use that scripture for you are the ones who are trying to actually displace you in your space. How do I know 24 out of 29 went to Ibos in Oshodi Solo? You don't even have to read ancient manuscripts. It's literally happening now. And there's nothing wrong with having ethnicities. Even God designed it that way. In Revelation, he said, all tribes and tongues. Revelation 17. Revelation chapter 7 verse 9. After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. The point is that there will be people from every nation and tribe and tongue. Don't come and tell me I don't see tribe. You are joking. I know you. I know who you are. You are just like Zeke. We are the same. Everybody is a man. Everybody is just African. It's a lie. A few years later, God has specially created the Igbo people. So we're no longer one. The point is that you can be one without losing yourself. Okay? And the unity they're looking for is not unity, it's uniformity. They want you to forget who you are. So by the time they get your space, for you to even complain about it is like a problem, which is what the old man that we listened to earlier is, which is actually quite disappointing. Then they'll go and look for those of you who are soft, right? Who are malleable. Then they'll bring you to come and talk to the rest of us. You will fail. Next election, no Igbo. No non-Yoruba person will get anything Yoruba land. And if you are really angry, you can also do. As I said, there one king said people should go to Lagoon. I think this would be a very good time for people to take excursion to Anyway, we're now going to today's topic. We're going to start with a young lady who is touting One Nigeria. Please take a listen to this.
One Nigeria is not Yoruba. It's one Nigeria. It's not Yoruba land, Igbo land, Hausa land. This is one. And we've been having this issue over and over again. Like, I don't know why the Yorubas don't want to allow the Igbos to just like inclusiveness.
Quite a luma sokpa me le so be. You know, people say a luma sokpa but me le so. I don't want to say it. There is Yoruba land in Nigeria. There's Hausa land in Nigeria. Yoruba land existed for thousands of years before the concept of Nigeria even came to be. There's nothing like one Nigeria in that sense. You are a thief. All this we are speaking English. You are a literal thief. This ideology is not the ideology of unity. It's the ideology of thieves and robbers. And only the groups that have nothing where they come from use ideology. There is Yoruba land. Nigeria is a collection of ancestral spaces. It's not a settlers colony where you can just take over spaces and do whatever you want to do. There's Yoruba land. Interestingly, even as a Yoruba man, I know that there's Ijebu land. there's Ijesha land, which is this is how you will know cultures that are primitive and people that are retarded. If you cannot even allow people to own what is theirs, who are you? You're a thief. I'm Yoruba. I don't go to Ijesha and say there's no Ijesha land, just Yoruba land. Even though I know that I have rights in that land because I'm also Yoruba, I still have respect to the people of that space. What do you mean there's no Yoruba land? There's Hausa land. When you don't have the concept of nationhood. That's the problem. You don't understand what it is to actually have structured spaces, statecraft. You don't know it. So there's no Hausa land, there's no Yoruba land. These are the people that ask you for remove state of origin and have state of residence. If you're a Yoruba person and you have been supporting that thing, please think again. The document I read the other day by Sir John McPherson, it was talking about different ethnic groups in Nigeria. He talked about Yoruba people. We have our own things to work on, and we were able to work on it in the 1950s. It was the liturgy, and Awolowo and the rest of his people did well. When we're talking about the Igbo, he used the exact same thing we've been talking about. Is Leppenstrom. There are two main things that Igbos got, in fact, three that Igbos. Let me say something. I'm not saying Igbo as a people are terrible human beings. I'm saying that your intellectual leaders in the 1940s and 1950s re-engineered your culture, and when you speak right now, you don't even know you're talking like a retard. You're literally repeating the stupid narratives of people that came before you. Three things they got from Germany. One was Aryan folk. They are superior to every other group. You still hear them say that nonsense today. Number two is Lebensraum, living spaces, expansionism. We want to enter into spaces. Number three is propaganda. Literally from the playbook of Joseph Goebbels, you hear them speaking like, this guy's got it. You see it in Zik, you see it in Ojuku, you see it in Achebe. When it comes to propaganda, we'll talk about it some other day. Erin Folk already mentioned the idea of superiority is actually stupid. The idea that you are better than everybody. If your worth is a product of comparison, you are nothing. If you can't say, I am this, without saying, I am better than that person, you are nothing. In other words, you should be able to look at yourself and define who you are without having to compare yourself with any other person. So when you start hearing things like you are better than people, I am stronger than you, I am richer than you, you are very poor man. Even if you have money, some people are so poor, all they have is money. When it comes to Lebensraum, the idea of living spaces, expanding to other places, there's a reason for this thing, and your people have to understand. Why people keep saying remove state of origin, it is one Nigeria? It's because the land is small where they come from. And it's not a curse, it's not a problem if you just stop being a thief. Williams Commission Report 1958 says that the people are too many for the land to support. I'm quoting verbatim, that's why I close my eyes. I'm trying to recollect the exact words. The people are too many for the land to support. The idea of removal of state of origin, we are all one, is not because of unity, it's because of scarcity. Think about it for a second. If you go to Oyo State and the entire Oyo State is one entire region, is the size of Oyo State. This is about 28,000 plus square kilometers. The entire south is about 29,000. It's just the size of your state. If you take it inside Niger State, you take like 2.5 of south is inside Niger State alone. The land is not there. The space is not there. That's the reason for Biafra. Apart from Ojuku's ambition, the other one was expansionism, was Lebensraum. If you read Crisis and Conflict in Nigeria by A.H.M. Green, it's right there. And it was Anthony Nauro who was making that point that these folks need land. They need empty land. That's what they use. And empty land is talking about real estate where you can build. They need farmland for agriculture. They need access to the sea, and they need oil. That's why they're always shouting Biafra, Biafra. It had nothing to do with the people of that place. Because if it has something to do with the people of that place, you'll not be killing them and eating their flesh. If you don't know what that means, please check out our video on YouTube. Bushio's channel is called. There's a video titled "Win the War Meat," where Rivers people were being served on a platter in restaurants in Port Harcourt. Go figure. The idea that you can move is not Nigeria, is one Nigeria. Nigeria is not a warehouse. At best is an estate. Everybody gets your own house. Say we live together for one estate does not mean you can enter my bedroom. I don't even know you. Even if I know you, and so what? In this estate, there are skyscrapers with there's some houses with penthouses. You know, there's some what's the word? There are some condominiums. You have flats. You have bungalows. Whatever God has given you, be happy with it. If God has given you a bungalow, that's what you can bear. Don't go around and be telling people we all own this estate together. Therefore, I can move anywhere I want and I can take over. Why are you people not even? And they're always talking about Yoruba people. Why don't they talk about outside people? How many Yoruba people have you seen? How many Ibos have you seen in northern government now? How can they talk to northerners? Can northerners not open their space? Why is it always Yoruba people are not have been included? I already mentioned earlier. You cannot be more inclusive than we have been. But it's okay. And in case you were not here when I mentioned it, if you go back in history, all the way back to 1941, we've been voting for non-Yoruba people in Yoruba land. And in case you were not here, I'll quickly run through it. In 1941, we had NDC Koli. He was an Ijoman. In 1951, we had Zik himself. And it was not in Lagos House of Representatives. It was in Ibadan, in Western Region Parliament. But it was representing Lagos. We brought him in. In 1962, we had the Bobedike representing Nigeria Omifelotu constituency. We had him. All right? We had Dimbono Dike, who was deputy mayor in Lagos. We've had the Tony Wulu in recent times. We've had House of Assembly members, Lagos State, Ibos, non-Yoruba people. Right now, we have Tajo Sata representing Etiosa. We have Onakwa Lucy representing Oshodi Solo constituency. Now, go back to your own father's state and your father's land. Tell me how many local governments, forget about that. Tell me how many wards. How many non-Igbo councillors are in your state? Say there's no inclusiveness. How else do we show that we are inclusive? By abdicating or by deserting what's ours and allow you to take over. And now we get to today's topic. In the name of opening up and showing that you are a very good Nigerian and that you love people, some people have shown us exactly what's happening. So today's topic is NDC politics in Lagos. Why are all the positions going to Ibos? And I found something quite interesting that was shared a while back. It's been about 1 week that Peter Obi joined NDC. 1 week has changed, 9 days. That was on Sunday. This is Tuesday, so that's 9 days. The same week he joined, they decided to come up with excos in a local government in Lagos State. I'm more word of it to be specific. And let me repeat what I said earlier. There's nothing like people dominate any part of Lagos. They are clustered, they are concentrated in different parts of Lagos. Doesn't mean they dominate anywhere in Lagos. People should stop all this stupid nonsense. We are the dominant. Dominant where? Again, nobody hates anybody. But you cannot be talking like you know what you are saying when you absolutely have no idea. Say you got 24 out of 29, say there are many people there. Does that mean that the owners of the land have disappeared? They sold their house. They sold their house. So when they sold their house, it's true. They just, even the ones that were tenants there, if you bought all the houses that, let me not even go. If you bought all the houses that belong to them, right, how come you require them to come and be the ones telling you about people that you are okay where you are? Queen says, come to Festac first. Festac is not a local government. Use your brain. Sincerely, I can assure you, it's not going to whittle away if you use it. Festac is just the entire Festac. Festac is like an estate now. Because have I been in Festac, of course. Okay, it's an estate. Amuwodofi is not Festac. Amuwodofi is a local government. You guys, do you think? You say, oh, I want to come to one estate. You see a lot of people there. So what? So because you have a lot of your family members inside one estate, it means that you have dominated the local government. Ha! Oh, God. Anyway, Amuwodofi is a local government in Lagos State. And here's the list of the excos. Chairman Uzoma AC. Deputy Chairman, they were gracious enough to give us Olatunji Bello. Secretary, Amobi Louis, Ibo. Chairman is also Ibo, by the way. Assistant Secretary, Ahmed Jose Maria, Ibo. Organizing Secretary, Uchechukwu, Ibo. Assistant Organizing Secretary, Chibundi, Chinedu, you know where that's from. Financial Secretary, Abanum Pat. Assistant Treasurer, Chike Chibuzo. Treasurer, Barrister Dan Okbua, Vikilo Kwasibi. Assistant Secretary, Obia Jaku. This is not Oka local government. This is Amu Wadofin. Someone says Amu Wadofin local government includes First Act Town. Yeah, I know it includes First Act Town, but that's not the extent of of Amu Wadofin. It's bigger than First Act now. Welfare Secretary Chief Onchi Kiniko Ontife Nkombo. Assistant Welfare Secretary Ukara. Auditor Otu Joe. Legal Advisor Okereke. Publicity Secretary Onyema. Assistant Publicity Secretary Obijaku. Assistant Publicity Secretary Malachi. Welfare Chief Kiniko Okemotu Soyeleko. Assistant Welfare Secretary Ukara. Representative Persons with Disability Wada. Women Leader Okpara. Assistant Women Leader Ekene. Someone says, is that no go? Believe me, this is Lagos State. Youth Leader Oromena. Assistant Youth Leader Onwokolo. 6 ex-official members: Matthew TJ Amanza Ikenazo, Vivian Euche, Chuku Merije. Someone says you can bet the vice chairman is not Yoruba. Even the names, at this point, Olatunji Bello could be somebody, just use the name. I'm coming though, I've not finished. We'll now go to the words. This is NDC, by the way. Word Chairman Nnamdi Friday. Word Vice Chairman Secretary Nguma Ugochi. Ward Welfare Secretary Duke Rita. Ward Assistant Welfare Secretary Glad Onyemachi. Treasurer Kingsley Kechuku. Organizing Secretary Kenechukwu Emeka. Wait, when they brought out this list and they looked at the names, did they not feel something inside them tell them that what this is stupid? Like, you know, sometimes you may have to read or write something down and read it to yourself to discover that could make sense. Did they not think this is? You know, you can already tell what's there. Everything here, even this one, the word chairman is Fidelis Bello Oche. You just have sprinkling of one Yoruba here, like this one you have Aziz Hakim Alao, then you follow by Ngozi, Onyekuji, Onyekwenye, Agbo, Chiazo, Akunubi, Okpapo, Ebuka, Dike. These are people that tell you that you are not inclusive. And because of this, Yoruba people in NDC are beginning to speak up, and this is what they said. All the Yorubas residing in Lagos State, building a Lagos that works for everyone. Fellow Lagosians, all the Yorubas in Lagos State stand for a Lagos where opportunity is not reserved for a privileged few, but is accessible to every full-blooded Yoruba, from Ikorodu to Badagry, from Surulere to Lekki. For too long, our state has been backed by politics and exclusion. No, wait, there's something I'm looking for. There's a particular chat that they had on that platform where people were now like, wait, how come everybody that's trying to become something in this party, how come they're all Ibos? And somebody told them that they should stop tribalism. I'm going to find that and read to you. But before I do that, I want you to listen to this person who wants to go back to that Oshodi Solo constituency. But guess what? His name is Onwachu. Has to be Igbo, apparently, was supposed to keep, believing in this kind of one Nigeria. It's not going to work. Take a listen to this, please.
Good morning, my fellow residents of Oshodi Solo constituency. My name is Gerald Onwachu, popularly known as G.O. Today, the top of May 2026. And a strong desire to serve our community. I have decided to contest for the House of Representatives under the platform NDC. This decision is driven by my unwavering commitment to bring and progress to our beloved constituency. The NDC equally shares my vision for a society where every citizen's voice is heard, every community thrives, and opportunities are accessible to all, especially our youth.
All right, just absolute hogwash. You stand before us, we are literally sitting down. Anyway, it's not going to work. But I'm still going to find you that stuff that they did in NDC. This is something quite interesting recently. They were in Edo State, Igbo people, and they were there to demand what they called, again, inclusion in Edo State. They go everywhere demanding inclusion. That is being efficient. But please take a listen to this.
The visits by leaders of the Igbo community in Edo State to Government House focused on inclusion, unity, and stronger community ties. During the interaction, Governor Monday Okwebolo disclosed plans to increase Igbo representation in his administration through the proposed appointments of a commissioner and a special advisor of Igbo extraction. The governor also assured the community of government support for the proposed international market at Ute, describing the project as a major economic initiative capable of boosting commerce and stimulating economic growth in the state.
One thing that has been in my heart, which I, for some time, I've been thinking it, is to see that Igbo are included in this government. I proposed 2 appointments. I think this is the first time Igbo will be having commissioner in Edo State. Second one will be essay to the governor too. These are the 2 appointments after the primary. And the market you were talking about, I think you have got the road across that place now. Because when I was campaigning, that was one of my campaign promises, which I've fulfilled. But I will visit the market and see how we can collaborate. Because even then, the government will also generate revenue from there.
President of the Igbo community in Edo State, Samson Awiaka, says work on the proposed Ute International Market has reached an advanced stage. He commended the governor for his inclusive approach and appealed for greater opportunities and increased participation of Igbos in governance and economic activities across the state.
The proposed civil center is intended to serve as a cultural and economic hub for Igbo in Edo State. We especially appeal for your consideration and alternative parcel of land. Our numerical strength in Benin alone is quite significant, and we thereby humbly request consideration for inclusion in your government through appointment. I assure you of intelligent and effective service delivery.
The meeting reflects the Edo State government's broader commitment to inclusive governance and wider representation in response to growing calls for stronger community participation in leadership and development. Moses Agboma, EBS News.
Anybody that wants to include anybody, they should include themselves. When it comes to Yoruba land, nobody's including anybody again. I'm going to make sure that this is something that will drum into the ears. And I know what's happening in politics, right? You want to pander so you can win elections. But here's the mistake that people are making. You assume people are going to vote for you because you pander. Those who are not going to vote for you will not vote for you regardless of what you do. But what you'd have done is that you would have lost your space in trying to please people who can never be pleased, regardless of what you do. And now that I said that, I found what I was trying to get earlier. So you have a lot of people so I've read out a list. I didn't finish because it's the same thing, right? Every page is the same thing. Sometimes 95% Ibos, 98% Ibos, 90% Ibos. All of this happening in a mode of in local government. The name itself tells you something. It's Yoruba land. NDC is trying to put together an executive committee, and all you find there are folks going there to dominate and take over that space. And people speak, you say they are bigots. You are not thinking straight. Then you also have people who are now trying to become party flag bearers. You know, like the one we listened to earlier, or this other person wants to become House of Assembly, Etiosa too, wants to go to Lagos State. So while they were having their conversation, I mean, their group, somebody wrote there, I don't get, the person's name is Alima, so I don't get an Igbo man contesting in Lagos. What happened to your state? It's not fair now. You don't see Yorubas or Hausa coming to your states to say they want to do such. Just looking at the man representing Oshodi Solo after being elected, all the opportunities meant for the indigenous people were given to his tribesmen. I hope if you win, you won't be like him, Sha. All the best. Even this one has not woken up fully because it's part of the Lagos State chapter. OK movement. Apart from Gbemi now, people Obani, of course, Ibo, now speaks to Alima and says, please, this platform is not for tribalism. If the people want him, so be it. Alima then responds, this is not tribalism, it is common sense. And you can see I wished him all the best at the end. Even in the East, someone from Enugu cannot contest in Anambra. So why are you doing such in Lagos? And they say it's okay. He now says, Alima then responds, I don't mind that. That doesn't stop me from supporting. I don't mind. That doesn't stop me from supporting Obi. Polo Atife says, it's like there's no Yoruba person in NDC party in Lagos State. Then somebody says you can contest. The point is that even the party that is just starting, just like a week old, as far as the consciousness is concerned in Nigeria, it's now taken over by a particular ethnicity. And here's the thing, if you do it where you come from, I mean, it's your homeland. Here's the crazy thing that Yoruba people don't even understand. That amongst the people in their own states, in their own region, they can't even do this. There is no Ebonyi man that is born of a woman that would try this in Anambra State. The one that they were complaining about, his great-great-grandfather was one who came from Eza to Enugu, and they said, God forbid. He eventually won, but that's his great-great-grandfather. Think about how many generations. After all these generations, you're still saying that he cannot win. I'm sure I played that video here before. The great-great-grandfather came from Eza. Now imagine was his father. If his grandfather came, he'll still be beaten. Let alone his father, let alone himself. These things are not allowed in the East, and I'm going to in the Southeast. I'm going to read some of the things happening or that have happened in the Southeast. For instance, on October 2023, indigenes reject Oti's appointment of Anambra industrialist Udiagbala as mayor of Aba. Say governor's action provocative. Aba is not a no man's land. I want to go on. Let me see if I can read you the entire thing. It's from, no, not this one. It's from Crucible, the Daily Crucible. If you allow anybody, this person, the Ide John Udiagbala, is Igbo. It's from Anambra State. The entire region is the size of Oyo State, so it's not like the place is far. It's the same region. Oti, Abia State governor, wanted to appoint another Igbo person as mayor of, Aba. They said no. Abia State Governor Alex Oti appointed Ide John Udiagbala, an industrialist originally from Anambra State, as the mayor of Aba City. Indigenes of Aba rejected this appointment, describing the governor's action as provocative and stating that Aba is not a no man's land. Ide John Udiagbala is a former national president of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mining and Agriculture, NASIMA. Is that not competence? Is that not competence? That's amongst themselves. We are going somewhere. Please stay with me. In 2023, Anambra State put out an advertisement for recruitment into Healthcare Development Agency. One of the major criteria was that the candidate must be indigenes of Anambra State. Indigenes. Not that you are from the Southeast. No, you have to be from that state. These are the people telling you to be inclusive. We are going somewhere. In 2019, Bianca was told that she's not from Anambra and that she could not be senator. So in 2018, towards 2019 elections, this is from Daily Post. 2019, Bianca is not from Anambra. She can't be senator. Ojuku's family vow. She's Igbo. Because some of us need to wake up. When they come up with employment opportunities for Mombo, I'll find it. I need to find it. 1 second. In Enugu State was health sector as well. They said one of the criteria was that you must be an indigent of that ward. Not just state of origin, not even local government of origin, ward of origin. It must be from the ward. I don't know how much inclusive that is. Ebonyi State of Nigeria put out an advertisement July last year. Vacancies. Application is hereby invited from interested legal practitioners of Ebonyi State origin to fill the existing vacancies in the magistracy. They went ahead to list the vacancies and so on and so forth. This is their space, their own indigenous. Do you have any problem with it? Absolutely not. I'm not trying to go to Ebonyi or Anambra. I'm not trying to take advantage of whatever belongs to them. So whatever they want to do in their space, they have that right. But guess what? So do we. I'm going to play you a video, then I'm going to read you an article. This one happened in Enugu and was one I was referring to earlier. Take a listen, please.
Meeting. Where's the Nobona? Pitamba, Ejero, Frank and Wake Junior on Africa. The California. Who is Pitamba? His great-great-grandfather is from Eza. He's from Ebonyi. They settled at Owo. And today somebody will tell me they have to come Kanoma. When you bring somebody from Ebonyi to come and be the governor of Enugu State, God will not allow that. Okay.
So think about it. His great-great-grandfather. So you have great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather, grandfather, father, and himself. 5 generations. At what point do you become an indigene of the place? I mean, within your own space. Anyway, I want to read this from Vanguard. This was October 8, 2011. SAC. Non-indigenes lament as Abia compiles lists. On August 25, 2011, Abia State government issued a circular which directed non-indigenes in its employment to disengage and return to their various states by October 1, 2011. The only exceptions were those engaged in the tertiary institutions. To give effect to the policy, the circular HAS/S.0071/2/13 issued by the head of service, Mr. G.C. Adele, directed heads of ministries, departments, agencies, and local government service commission to submit the names of all non-indigenes in their employ on or before 1st of September 2011, failure of which or any connivance thereto shall attract strict sanctions by government. Entitled, Backloading on Transfer of Non-Indigenous in Abia State Public Service of their state of origin, the head of service said, I write to convey the entitled, Backloading on Transfer of Non-Indigenous in Abia State Public Services to their states of origin, the head of service said, quote, I write to convey the approval of the government of Abia State that all non-indigenes working in the public service of Abia State, including local governments, be transferred to their states of origin with effect from October 1st, 2011. This policy does not apply to tertiary institutions in Abia State. Ever since this policy was announced, there has been confusion in the state civil service. The confusion arose mainly because women of Abia extraction who by marriage changed indigenship are protesting their inclusion. They are arguing that constitutionally they remained Abians and therefore should not be affected by the exercise. Some of the cited cases where married women take ministerial positions in their states of birth even when they are married in a different state. Egbolon Toby. You know, one of the things I think for us is that many of the times when we have conversations about things like this, it's like we don't really study what's happening around us. They are saying, by the way, when you hear state of origin, they're not talking to Yoruba people. Oh. This is within the region. Is it good? I don't know. Is it bad? That's not my business. The point is just that they resist